If you're thinking about buying a home in the Champaign Urbana area, I've got something that you need to know. Hey, I'm Brock Collins. I'm a real estate agent here in the Champaign Urbana area with eXp Realty. And today I've got something to share with you that you'll want to know if you're thinking about buying a house in the Champaign Urbana area. Now, there's a couple things that I always share with my clients, and one of them gets overlooked. Now, it's up to you as a home buyer if you want to do this, okay? But I'm going to share this because I've got a story to share on why it's so important to do this. Now, in Illinois, it is not required as a home buyer to use an attorney to help you with your real estate transaction to get it to closing. Now, in our area, it's pretty simple because as a real estate agent here in Champaign, I will help you write the contract. I will get through any home inspections. Once we have a firm agreement, the attorney steps in and then handles things for the closing behind the scenes. All right? Now, as a seller, you will need a real estate attorney to help you because there's different state forms, there's a deed, there's some transfer papers that really need an attorney to get done. As a buyer, it's not required. So, here's what I would share with you as my client. If you are out looking for houses, you want to make an offer, and we get an offer accepted, what do we do next? I would always recommend as a buyer, when buying a home in the Champaign Urbana area, to hire an attorney to represent your interest in the backside here as we move forward in the real estate transaction. Here's why. Let me tell you the story that just recently happened. I was helping a client who was buying a home in the Champaign Urbana area. Now, this client chose not to use a real estate attorney. It's up to you. As a home buyer, it's totally up to you. You get to make that decision. But what I will tell you is the decision is usually made based off of how much it costs. So as of this recording, real estate attorneys to represent you for a real estate closing in the area charge anywhere from $500 to $700, somewhere in that range, okay? So the very first objection from home buyers that usually comes up is, if I don't need to have one, if I'm not required, I'll just save that $500 or $700. Well, on the surface, it sounds like a great idea, right? It's a great idea until you need representation. So what just happened in a situation that a home buyer decided not to use a real estate attorney. We had a closing, and on the closing day, we did a final walkthrough of the house. Now, the reason that's important is we want to make sure things are out of the house. Nothing else is broken. They didn't take the appliances they said they were leaving, and those kind of things. So we do a final walkthrough when buying a house in the Champaign Urbana area. We did the final walkthrough an hour before closing, and barely anything was moved out of the house. So the seller was suggesting, let's go ahead and close and I'll get out as soon as I can. Well, that's not how it works in the Champaign Urbana area. Might work somewhere, but now we're in a pickle. We're in a little quandary. It's closing day, everything's ready, the loan documents are ready, and now we've got a hiccup. Here's an even bigger problem that you need to be aware of. When we showed up to closing, guess who had an attorney? The seller. Guess who did not have an attorney? The buyer. So in that case, there's a lot of confusion. There's no one to ask legal advice on because I'm not an attorney. So typically what happens is the seller's attorney will draft some kind of agreement, which in normal cases, they're representing the seller, so the language is likely to favor the seller, not the buyer. If the buyer had an attorney representing them, this would have been an even deal. There'd be no squirrely things. There would have been no closing. There is or at least a strong likelihood there wouldn't have been any closing if the seller didn't have everything out, because the seller doesn't typically get their money and get a full closing unless they've moved out and possession of the home is given. So things turned a little bit squirrely. Why? Because the buyer did not hire a real estate attorney to represent their interest and get it through closing smooth, and to make sure if some snags come up, which they always do in a real estate closing, they didn't have anyone there to protect their best interest as an attorney. So if you're out looking for homes for sale, even if you're looking for sale by owners in the Champaign Urbana area, always my recommendation as a home buyer is to go out, and when you find the home that you want, even though it's not required by the state of Illinois, it is a great idea to hire legal representation as a real estate attorney to protect your best interest. All right? Now, if you're out looking for homes, if you need help finding a home, or if you have a home for sale that you need to sell in the Champaign-Urbana area, let me know how I can help you best. I've been a local professional here, real estate professional here in the Champaign-Urbana area for the last 24 years. I've seen just about everything under the sun, and I can anticipate many snags before we even cross that bridge. And I would like to help you and be your real estate agent to help you buy a home, to help you sell a home, or to answer any real estate questions that I can help you with as we move through the process. So if you'd like to reach out to me, my number is right here on the screen. Also, I put my information in the description of this video below. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you found a lot of value in this video. Let me know how I can help you in all of your real estate needs.